Hello ladies and gentlemen, today as you can see we're doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we're going to talk about Arcades Sabboth. So let's begin saying that Arcades Sabboth was actually an Elder Dragon who was the first Elder Dragon to name himself. Dragon spawned Arcades, who had pale wings and brightly colored wings as well. When Arcades was born, he was actually fascinated with humans than any other Elder Dragon were born. So he decided to leave the Elder Dragons to be with the humans. The humans called him the Dragon Lord as they worshipped him. Arcades attempted to teach the humans a better way of life so that the realm would be in peace. All was fine until the Elder Dragon War began. Of course, Nicobalus had convinced Arcades to join the war. In the continent of Jamara, Bolas and Arcades' army was fighting. Ugin actually had appeared during the fight. So when he appeared, while Bolas was distracted, he made a strategic retreat. At the end of the war, Arcades was actually one of the few victors. Some of the other victors were Chromian Rule, Paladea Morris, Nicobalus, and Vectius Ashmida. As a result of the war, Bolas had to reignite his spark. So while he was doing this, Arcades actually took over the land in his absence, and Arcades even took in Bolas's abandoned army. As a result, he became the ruler of Dominaria, sort of in a way, right? Like the unofficial ruler. Ugin even let this happen, as there were more important things to do with the multiverse. Arcades' empire became a dictatorship over time with the hints of a police state as a result of Ugin putting seeds of paranoia into Arcades' mind. After some time, supposedly Arcades was killed by Christina. Christina was in a duel with Leshrac when this happened. Apparently there is some debate about how Arcades Sabboth had passed away, because Nicobalus and Arcades Sabboth were Chromian brothers that survived during the war, and part of the argument is that Leshrac would rather have summoned Bolas instead of Arcades. Also, Bolas is also the only Elder Dragon to become a Planeswalker, and that is part of the debate about what happened. So Arcades is actually only represented in two cards, Arcades Sabboth and Arcades the Strategist. Arcades Sabboth is represented, as we just said, in two cards, and the first one you see is Arcades Sabboth. So costs a lot of mana, two colors, a plains, two forests, and two islands. It's a 7/7, so I guess it's alright if you have all those colors, but back in the day this was actually very powerful. And it says flying for 1 white mana gets +1 until end of turn, and your untapped creatures gain +0/+2. Attacking creatures do not untap, get this bonus, and then you got to pay those 3 colors to keep it alive. Not very good, but we're not talking about the style of the card. Again, it's represented in this, so the other card is represented in Arcades the Strategist from M19, and its better ability is 1 colors, forest, white, and the island. Just like before, it's a 3/5. It says flying and vigilance. Whenever a creature with Defender enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Each creature you control with Defender assigns combat damage equal to the toughness rather than its power, and it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. And there we go. That's all that we have the information on Arcades at the moment, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening.